Hi, welcome and so good of you to watch Unboxing Bowie. Today I would like to discuss this little fellow here, the 2019 release Conversation piece by David Bowie. What I'll do is I'll talk to you about what's inside the box set, why it's called Conversation piece, and what can be heard on the box set. Well, Conversation piece was sort of the culmination of a lot of releases in 2019, marking the 50th anniversary of Space Oddity, Bowie's first hit single. And in 2018 and 2019 several things were released, and I'll show you later. So first of all, let's look inside this beautiful cardboard box. There's a book, and inside this book, in the front and back cover, are 5 CDs that are also housed in their own sleeve, which is nice. And here you see the other 3. And inside is a book of 120 pages, filled and packed, really packed with pictures, liner notes about what can be heard, and also a lot of comments, clippings, comments by those who were there, producers, friends alike, which is very nice and very interesting because it shows you something about the creative process that Bowie was in at that time, trying to find his own voice. Well, he had various voices, but he found them all, I think. So, why is this an interesting release? First of all, in 1967, after some very unsuccessful singles, Bowie released his first album called aptly David Bowie, and well, he had the hair of Paul Weller. I don't know who was first, but this album did absolutely nothing. Not a very big success, and although there are really very nice songs on this album, nobody heard it until, well, after he got successful. And of course he was a little bit frustrated, but also he tried to do better. So he kept on writing, he kept on recording. Also already with Tony Visconti, he made some very nice songs like Let Me Sleep Beside You, Karma Man, really very good songs, but they never got onto a single or anything, and they weren't released until after Bowie got successful on The World of David Bowie in 1970. Well, there you have it. No success, but he kept on trying. In '68, he started a new trio called Feathers, and there was a three-piece band with Hermione Farthingale and John Hutchinson, and that didn't really work out. He had an affair with Hermione, and well, they broke up. She left the band, so it was just him and Hutch. He did some mime with Lindsay Kemp, and in '68 also his manager decided it would be nice to make a film, a television film, and so they did. It was called Love You Till Tuesday, and they made some videos with songs from his first album. But they also needed a new song for it, and Bowie was writing already a lot of songs, and one of those songs was Space Oddity. And also this Space Oddity, in a very embryonic version, got into this film. However, the film in 1969 was never broadcast, and we had to wait until 1984 to get it released on video, and later on also on DVD. And there's also obviously a soundtrack, and it's a hilarious film, and especially the version of Space Oddity in which he wears some kind of silver suit is really very funny, but also quite terrible, to be honest. Bowie was writing and recording, usually just with him, a tape recorder, microphone and a guitar, and some of the material has popped up over the past few years, and now they have put that out in various forms. And the first release was Spying Through a Keyhole. It was released at the end of 2018, and this contains 4 7-inch singles, and on all of these 7-inch singles are some songs that we didn't know yet. Mother Grey, in Heat of the Morning in a new version, that's a known song. Goodbye, Three-Penny Joe, London by Tata, which would continue to be recorded several times. A song that was called Angel, Angel, Grubby Face, and another song that's also called Angel, Angel, Grubby Face. It's called Spying Through the Keyhole, and that's what it is, because you are really looking into the mind of a young man who is trying to find his voice once again. Then, like I said, he was also in a duo with John Hutchinson, a bit like Simon and Garfunkel, I think. And together with John Hutchinson, he recorded the demo called the Clareville Grove Demos. Songs he recorded in the house of his landlady, and not just his landlady, wink wink, nudge nudge, Mary Finnegan. They recorded various versions of Space Oddity and other songs that were a bit better known, like Let Me Sleep Beside You and An Occasional Dream, songs that did or did not crop up on his next album. After that, nothing happened still, until they recorded again all these songs, and it is called the Mercury tape, because they recorded these songs and they sent it to Mercury, and this was successful because Mercury then subsequently released Bowie's second album. Also, this was released in 2019 as a big box with just one LP in it and some stuff. It was ridiculously highly priced. I don't know why, but there's an album inside this. This is the Mercury demo tape, and it contains a lot of songs that are on Space Oddity, on the album Space Oddity, but also a beautiful song like a love song written by Leslie Duncan, who also wrote a lot of songs for Scott Walker. Well, all these links are very interesting. So, finally, successful, Bowie released Space Oddity, the single. He had his first hit, number 5 hit, and he went on to record the entire album. And most of our generation know this album as this one, Space Oddity. But this is the re-release in 1972, after Bowie got really successful with Ziggy Stardust. Because the original version looks like this, and it was also called David Bowie. Confusingly. Different hair, different music, but also David Bowie. In America, however, it was called Man of Words, Man of Music. It's all the same album, sort of. And in 2019 it was also re-released in a different version. Now, what happened was that all these releases in 2019 were accumulated and were assembled on this 5 CD version, which is Conversation Piece. So why is it called Conversation Piece? Well, Conversation Piece is one of the songs that Bowie wrote in 1969, and which he also recorded to be put on Space Oddity. However, he had to select because he recorded too many songs, and some of the songs he really wanted on it. And in those days, to get the right dynamics, you couldn't put more than 17 or 18 minutes of music on one side of an album. So we had a big, and Conversation Piece was sacrificed, unfortunately, I must say. And it was relegated to being a B-side of another very unsuccessful single in 1970. But Bowie was very fond of this song, and we know that because he re-recorded the song in 2000 for the Toy album that I already talked to you about. And he kept on recording it, and there are various versions of this wonderful song, Conversation Piece, on the Conversation Piece box set. In this box set there are also 2 versions of Space Oddity, the album, that is. First of all is the remaster of 2009, which contains the songs that were on the original version of David Bowie, this one. which is, among others, the short, funny song Don't Sit Down. And on the other version, it's the 2019 remix version, remixed by Tony Visconti. And this one does contain Conversation Piece on side B as an extra track. So there's more music on this one than it used to be. Conversation Piece is a very beautiful assembly of stuff. It contains even more interesting songs than all these little box sets do. And one of the songs that is really very interesting and that I would advise you to listen to at least once is called Jerusalem, because it is vintage Bob Dylan. It is really very well done. And obviously Bowie was looking for various styles of singing, various styles of writing. And Jerusalem is a song that nobody really knew. We knew the title, but we thought, well, it's just a title. But it is a song. It's interesting. I don't know what it's about, but you should listen to it if you want to. Now, Conversation Piece is very interesting. It's also very expensive. So I can also imagine that you think, well, just let me listen to it on one of the streaming services, and I would advise you to do so, because there's a lot of interesting material on it, and it really shows you the development that Bowie went through between 67 and 69. And after that, you know a little bit more about this young man who made the grade, finally. So I would say, enjoy the music, and God bless.